Hello, welcome back to Gecko Tech and Gaming. I'm Kyle, and today I'm very excited. I'm very hyped for what I just got in the mail yesterday. We have the Titan GE Air from Xenics. Man, I'm not even gonna lie, this has been something I've been looking forward to for quite a while, since the end of last year. Man, this is a really good mouse. It's like, spoiler alert, this is going to be probably my main mouse, my end game, for quite a while. We're going to take a look at the Titan GE Air compared to the original, the MM720. We'll also look at the overall components, from build quality to just the general quality of each component that's in this mouse, overall cost, performance, all that stuff. All right, so hang tight, let's dig in and take a look at this thing. All right, so first off, this is just it's a straight clone of the MM720. It's got the nice little bit of a rest for your thumb there, two side buttons, a rest for your ring finger. Yeah, I mean, this is really a spitting image of the MM720 without the darn cable. Shape-wise, build-wise, compared to the original MM720, there's quite a few things that they changed with this mouse, the overall build, a couple design changes, and in my opinion, all of the changes that they made compared to the CoolerMaster MM720 are improvements. There's nothing about the original MM720 that makes me think, I wish they stuck with that the way they had it before. One odd thing that was on the MM720 was there was a ring, like this glossy ring around mouse 1 and mouse 2. That's gone. Now it's just mouse 1, mouse 2, and the shell. That weird change from matte to gloss to matte, it added a little bit of flair, but I thought it was a little weird. They also fixed the side buttons with this mouse. They're now regular side buttons. They don't pop out a lot, but in my opinion, they pop out just enough to be totally usable. They also make it the same material as the body and mouse 1 and mouse 2. One thing that I found really weird about the MM720 was the body, like the shell of the mouse, was a different material than mouse 1 and mouse 2. And you can kind of tell if you look really close, the color's a little bit different, and even the texture was a little bit different too. And that's another thing. I don't know if this is raw plastic or if there is a coating on this, but it feels great. It's a true matte surface, doesn't pick up any fingerprints, very grippy, doesn't get sweaty, doesn't pick up fingerprints. Compared to the MM720, even if you get the matte version, it's still almost like a satin. There's like a sheen to it, and is very smooth. There wasn't a lot of grip to it. So, you know, in my opinion, something like this, this one manages to still be smooth to the touch while still having that kind of matte quality to it, where it doesn't pick up fingerprints, and it just feels really nice in hand. The side buttons as well on the MM720 were glossy, and they also had a weird bump on like the outer edges of those side buttons. These are just regular side buttons now. They went ahead and moved the DPI button up to the top of the mouse now. So if you're someone that uses multiple DPI settings, or if you want to reprogram it to do any other mouse or keyboard function, or even multimedia functions as well, the DPI button is much more accessible as well. And back to the side buttons, there used to be this kind of odd ridge below the two side buttons that is much less pronounced here, and I actually do prefer this. The other one just kind of felt like it was jutting out way too much. This feels very nice, feels a lot better than the original MM720. They say that these skates are Tiger skates. I can't really confirm 100%, but they definitely are the white pure PTFE. They have a very nice glide, and they do have rounded edges. The MM720 came with replacement skates, but they had like a really hard edge. These are definitely an improvement on the original skates as well. Glide just fine, nice and smooth. They're good. I don't think that these are skates that you would need to replace right away. These are perfectly serviceable. And then for the price, the MM720, generally you can get it between $30 and $50. The Titan GE Air, this one you can get, it's on eBay right now. That's how I got it. I actually pre-ordered it. And it is about $109, but that does include the shipping. So I'm going to take that into consideration. Now for the actual components and the build, we have two programmable LED lighting zones at the scroll wheel, as well as the rear with their little Titan logo. Can light up really bright. I've been running it at max brightness for the past full day, and it's only at like 90% battery, so it seems like the battery will last a pretty long time. I assume if you turn the LEDs off, you'll probably get a pretty decent amount of time. This is using a 300 milliamp hour battery, so I don't really know what that translates into, to be honest. The sensor is a 3370. That's the most prolific sensor right now. Excellent performance, good IPS, excellent accuracy, but it's also very power efficient. So you're not going to have any problems with the sensor on this guy. Now for connectivity, it uses 2.4 hertz wireless, and you can also plug it in to charge and use it while it's charging. Sorry, no Bluetooth if that's something that you're looking for, just the 2.4 hertz wireless and the wired mode. Now the only thing that I felt I wasn't as excited about was that it's using Omron switches. Now on the website, it does have like a JPEG describing the Omrons, and it shows a picture of the Omrons. It's hard to translate it because it's not actual text, it's just a JPEG. But from what I can gather, it looks like either an Omron 20, or it could possibly be the Japanese Omron 10s. Very light, very spammable if that's something that you like, lighter switches. My personal preference is like KL4s or KL8s. I like a little bit more heft to my clicks, but this is perfectly serviceable. And since we're on the topic, I'll do some click testing right now. Mouse 1 and mouse 2. Side buttons. Scroll wheel. And the DPI button. Now for the mouse itself, for mouse 1 and mouse 2, there is a small amount of side play. I'll try and show it. It's very minimal. Let's see. It's super minimal. The way the mouse 1 and mouse 2 are inlaid in the shell really makes it so that like it's really not a problem. I don't notice it at all unless I'm deliberately trying to move it like how you saw right there. There's a small amount of pre-travel, almost no post-travel on both mouse 1 and mouse 2. And then for the side buttons, it's got your typical, it's got a decent amount of pre-travel for the front and back side buttons, but surprisingly not as much post-travel as I would expect for mouse side buttons. These are very pleasant for side buttons. I like them. And another thing to consider is this thing is very lightweight. It is 59 grams on my scale, which is what they advertise it as. So kudos to Xenics for making the actual weight match what the scale says. 59 grams is, there's no one that's going to complain about 59 grams. Honestly, I would have been happy if this was up to 70 grams. Like, that would have been fine with me, considering that it still feels very nice and sturdy in hand. There is no side flex on the side walls, but there is a little bit of flex if you kind of sandwich it like this. The top shell and the bottom of the shell do flex a little bit with just a little bit of force. I wouldn't really try and squeeze this. But in real world use, unless you like really rage while you're playing a game, I can't see it being a big problem for anybody. For me, this is perfectly acceptable, especially for 59 grams. That's acceptable in my book. So there is a software that you can modify the buttons. You can actually modify the debounce time as well. I would suggest downloading the software so you can change that debounce time. It's at 4 milliseconds by default. You can bring the debounce time all the way down to 0 if you want. I run it at 1 millisecond and I haven't had any issues with double clicking or anything like that. So the Xenics Titan GE Air. Dude, I love this thing. I love this thing. It's going to be on my desk for a long time, I think. But the question is it right for you? It comes in at $109. You have to buy it from Amazon. The shipping was surprisingly fast. It was by FedEx. I mean, they told me it would be here probably around March 1st, but I got it yesterday on the 11th. So the shipping's pretty dang quick considering it's coming from Korea to the US in my case. Yeah, of course, that price is pretty high. I was honestly expecting to be closer to maybe like $80 or $90. That's what I think would be a good price for it. However, considering that it's making a long trip from Korea, they don't charge you any extra for the shipping on eBay. It's, that's fair. And when you compare it to other mice with similar features, let's say the Hot ES. Before this, I was running the Hot ES for a hot minute, and I really liked that mouse. Similar components, it's a lightweight wireless mouse, and that's like $20 more, like $10 to $20, depending on which version you get. So honestly, compared to the competition, it's a pretty decent price. It's acceptable. I would have liked to see it closer to maybe 90 or 100 would be pretty fair, I think. But I don't think they're price gouging for this thing. This is a great mouse if you like claw grip. I don't hear people talk about it a lot, but I think this is good for fingertip too. You could fingertip this very easily because the rear hump is so tight in the back. It gives you a lot of space to make micro adjustments, and the added stability of your ring finger and your pinky finger, it just gives you this really stable hold. You feel like you really grip it very well, but you still have a lot of room for those micro adjustments. It's got a very low front end for mouse 1 and mouse 2. It feels very precise. I love this thing. I have no complaints. Kudos to Xenics for really, in my opinion, I think they knocked it out of the park with this thing. So many big companies dropping the ball. Razer with the Viper Mini. A bunch of OEM mice come in and they're like pretty good quality. Now the MM720, people have been asking for a wireless for the MM720 for a long time. But CoolerMaster, I mean, they had some problems with their wireless tech. But these bigger companies, man, y'all gotta get your stuff together, dude. All these other companies are coming for you. They're coming for you hard, and they're doing pretty good, man. So, Razer, especially you, I'm waiting for that Viper Mini Ultimate. I want to see what y'all have in store, because you gotta bring it. You gotta bring it pretty hard, because your competition's got some pretty good stuff out there. I'm actually kind of excited, because all that means is that they're gonna have to innovate, and they're gonna have to do something unique with the Viper Mini Ultimate. So I'm actually kind of jazzed to see what they do. I'm wondering if they're going to do some kind of unique tech or something. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. So you guys, thanks again so much for stopping by. I really appreciate you being here watching the video. You guys take care, stay safe, God bless, take it easy, and I'll see you on the next one, all right? Later.